Guys, I want to thank you for stopping by the channel today, and I hope there's enough light where I'm at. I've just parked kind of in the shade a little bit, so I'm actually headed somewhere, and I thought I'd stop and get this week's video kind of going. Today's actually Tuesday. It's sad I gotta look at my watch to tell me what day it is, but I do stay pretty busy. But this week's video is it's a video that I've wanted to make for a little while, just to kind of answer a lot of the questions that I do get from whether it's direct messaging on YouTube or messaging on Instagram. And it's a pretty common question that I think that all of us ask people that when we first meet them, or as we ask people what they do for a living. And I've made slight mentions of what I do, but this week's video is going to be because there's a lot going on this Saturday, plus our weather isn't supposed to be the best here in Tulsa, so I really don't know if I'm going to be able to get the vet out to do any type of videos with it. So I wanted to go ahead and take this moment and kind of share with you guys a little bit about who I am and kind of where I'm at in life and how I've kind of got here. And again, I don't want this to be that long, maybe 8 minutes or so, because I want to get to some other things. But first of all, I'm 40 years old, about to turn 41 next month. When I say next month, I keep thinking it's December, but actually in January. And as far as my working career, I've had, since I was 16, I've had 3 jobs. When I was 16, I went to work for my dad, who was in the restaurant business, and I did that all through high school. When I graduated high school, I actually went into the training program for the same company he was with, and within about a year and a half, I'd worked my way from assistant to associate to food and beverage manager to general manager of a pretty good sized store in the North Texas area. And I did that for about a year and a half, and I enjoyed doing it. But the biggest thing that I did not want to do is, as me and my wife began to think about starting a family, was I didn't want to, I worked 70, 80 hours a week, and I didn't want to have children and start a family in that type of environment where I was never going to be home. I was, just didn't want to do that. And on the days I was off, sometimes I would work 11, 12 days straight and be off for a day or two, because in that type of profession, there is quite a bit of turnover. So as a general manager, you're constantly carrying the load. So me and my wife decided we were going to leave what we had, and we were going to come to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Had no clue what I wanted to do. I thought about being a state trooper, so I went and enrolled in community college and started taking classes there. In the process of that, I got a job working for one of the largest health systems here in northeastern Oklahoma, and it was an experience. It was, I thought it was going to be a great job, so I did it while I was going to school. And I think the biggest thing, I about quit there 3 or 4 times, just because it was hard as the only guy working with 60, 70, 80 women. And when you're the only guy, you sit back and, I didn't have any issues with any of them, but boy, watching the cat fights it was crazy. So I stayed there for about 7 years. I worked my way up from kind of an entry-level position all the way up into management, and I became a manager of the patient account services for one of their divisions, and did that again for about 7 years. But then we had our first son, and the pay, it was a good living, but it just wasn't to my standards. I wanted more. I wanted to be able to provide my family with a whole lot more than what that job was going to be able to do. So I had looked into creating my own business. And one thing I had learned working in the restaurant business, and then working in the patient accounts or the billing side, administrative side of the healthcare system, was, I did a lot of work and I made them a lot of money. And I wanted to take that effort that I had and the skills that I had learned from those from those jobs and create it into a business that I could do myself and reap the reward from it. Now, anytime you're going to start your own business, there's huge risk to that, but you know, it's one of those things, you know, if that's what's in your heart to do, then you'll make it happen. And actually my stepdad, he was in the tire business. He was kind of getting tired of that. And I told him I'm going to start my own business, and I have no idea what that business is going to be, but I'm going to find some type of service that I can do that I think is going to work long term and create a good living. And he had made mention to me that, you know, he had installed garage doors, you know, years and years ago. And so I started looking into the garage door business, how many companies there were locally. I started calling those companies and acting like I was a customer, and, you know, got prices for all the different types of services that garage door companies provide. And then I called some wholesalers, I called some places that sold these products, and I wanted to see what the profit margin would be. And after about 3 months of doing that, I made the conclusion that it was going to be, you know, had good profit margin in it. So he knew how to do it. He was going to teach me how to do it, and then I was going to do the whole business side of everything. And again, this is one of those things, I would not recommend a partnership for anything. You know, partnerships for most cases, they fail. They really do. The only ship that won't sail is a partnership. And just because you can have two different, I mean, there's just so many things can go wrong with that. But my stepdad he's a little bit of a different guy. He's very laid back. He's a great human being. And I told him, I said, you know, I'm a type A personality. He goes, hey, you run it. I'll jump on board, and, you know, we'll make this thing happen. We're almost 14 years later, and it's been so successful. You know, God has blessed this company more than I ever would have imagined that it could have ever turned into. You know, it's created a life for my family that I'd always wanted. We've been able to put back money to pay for an entire college. We've been able to put back money for retirement. You know, we've got a paid-for house. We have paid for vehicles. And, you know, one thing that is, and I want to talk to some of my, the guys that are out there. You know, one thing that women love more than anything is they love, to feel secure, but they also love to feel that, money isn't an issue. And, when you can provide that for your wife, you can provide that for your family to where, you're not living paycheck to paycheck, that you've gotten to that point. Now, what I do want to tell you is that takes years to do sometimes. To get to this point, it's taken 14 years. But in that process, that fight, that grind has been worth it. Because I could see where I wanted to go and I could see myself getting there. So if you're out there and maybe you've been thinking about starting your own business, or maybe you've been thinking about, Chuck, I'm in a kind of a dead-end job. I really don't see myself going anywhere. Find something that's a passion for you. Find out something, garage doors wasn't a passion for me. I just knew I had a passion to have my own business. And you have to sometimes go out there and look for something that you can turn into a career. You can turn into a business. Sole proprietorships or small businesses are the backbone of this economy. So it's it's something that's attainable. People do it all the time. Now, there's a lot of people that fail. And yes, there were times when we got started that we were barely able to make enough money to put food on the table. And, there were times that I thought about, did I make a bad mistake in doing this? But I kept telling myself, no, I haven't. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep grinding through it. And it's been very successful. So guys, that's a little bit about who I am. I wanted to kind of share that with you. It looks like I'm about 9 minutes, so I've blown past the 8 minutes. So forgive me if you've watched this entire video so far. Thank you very much. But, I just wanted to encourage someone out there. Each one of my videos, kind of going forward, I'm going to have a little small segment at the end of all my videos that I just have a word of encouragement to people. You know, we live in a world that is very cynical. We live in a world that, you know, there's just not a whole lot of uplifting. There's not a whole lot of motivation. You know, people are always wanting to step on other people to get to where they want to go. But I'm going to tell you what, if you want to be successful in life, you know, help other people around you succeed, and they'll help you succeed. So build those relationships. And well, guys, I'm going to take you with me. We're going to be installing some doors on a pole barn. We've got a gentleman that he's ran into his garage door, and so we're going to have to replace that. So I want you to kind of see a little bit about what I do as far as just kind of the workings of it. I'm not going to show you how I do a whole door, because that takes, you know, over an hour to do, and I don't want to film that. But I'll kind of show you some of the after stuff and kind of show you what we do here at Assurance Overhead Doors. So guys, right here is where we put all of our garage doors that we take down. Also garage door openers, broken springs, things like that. And so as you can see, we're quite full right now. But, you know, I wish everything in life was this simple. But to basically clean this up, all you got to do is, and that's how you clean a trailer. Now, going further on back here to the shop, of course, we got our hardware. These are our hardware packs for garage doors. We've got a truck coming this Friday. So I usually will run the inventory down quite a bit before those trucks come in, just so that we've got the space for them. But these right here are garage doors. These are the typical sizes for most people's houses. They come to us non-insulated, and then we either insulate them. If people want windows, we cut windows in them. But again, we carry it 1, 2, 3, 4, we carry 5 different panel designs, and we carry them in 5 different colors. So that's kind of what we got there. This right here is a perimeter vinyl seal. This is the seal that goes around the door, so it air tights it. Down here we got the struts and all that type of stuff. Now, many of you, if you own a house, then you've seen one of these break if you've lived in your house for any amount of time, and that is a torsion spring. Looks like this. The only people who do not have one of these, who do not have a torsion spring system, are people who have the crummy Wayne Dalton doors, and you know who I'm talking to out there. We carry 3 different types of openers. We carry a basic chain drive unit, 8165. We carry a LiftMaster 8360. This is kind of a workhorse here. It's nice and quiet. People love this opener. And then back there, we do some belt drive units. Belt drives aren't as popular as they used to be, because now the chain drives are just as quiet. But all of these openers have the MyQ technology in them, where you can use your phone, iPad, computer, anything to not only open your door but shut your door, as well as monitor your door. So it's a great safety feature. Most of us nowadays, this is our front door. We go in and out of it all the time. So it's good to have something quality. Guys, I just got through, me and another gentleman just got through installing these 2 doors. I'd probably say 90% of our business is residential, but we do have a couple of pole barn builders that build pole barns for people. And you know, depending on where you are in the country, what it is basically is like a bigger garage next to the house. These doors right here are 14 foot wide, 10 foot tall, and they're of course insulated. But as you can see, it's kind of just it's just going to be a big kind of, you could call it a shed, you could call it a garage, whatever, but it's pretty cool. We do have different designs that we do these in. This particular door right here is a pretty popular one. This is what's called a CSX door. As you can see, it's got kind of a carriage look design to it. So we do quite a few of these for this particular builder. He likes that particular look. So on to the next one. Well guys, that's this week's video. It was a little different than what I normally do, but I think going forward, I'm gonna have some of these videos where, you know, they're just more of a vlog, or just kind of, you know, living, you going with me during the course of a week, versus just the Corvette all the time. But again, I'm always going to get the Corvette in every video somehow, even if I got to play a clip like again, that's why most people are here. Most people are here because of the Corvette, and I understand that. But I also want my channel to grow. I want it to grow in its content, because I think that there's other things other than my car that I want to bring to those who want to click and watch my video every week. You know, I want to give everybody a word of encouragement. You know, and this week I'm going to end all my videos going forward with a quote. And it's a quote that I think, you know, I'm not a big reader, but I love quotes. I love inspirational type quotes, and I like to take those, I like to ponder on them, I like to think about them, and I like to apply them in my life. And this week's quote comes from a football player, a well-known football player. His name is Jerry Rice. He was a wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s and the 90s. He has set all kinds of records, and he still has many of his records that haven't been broken yet. But he once said this. He was always known for his work ethic. You know, people have always said you couldn't outwork Jerry Rice. And I love this quote that he gave. And he said, "Today, I'm willing to do what others won't, so that tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't." And when I think about that quote, that tells me that what I'm doing today is going to directly affect my tomorrow. And I know this as a small business owner. I know this as someone who has had a journey in life, that whatever you're doing today affects your tomorrow. The decisions you make with money today, the decisions you make with your time today. You know, I try to always encourage people, you know, don't be a procrastinator. Sometimes, there's people in my family that they're just procrastinators. And I mean, that just drives me crazy, because I've always lived my life, why put off something until tomorrow that can be done today? And, you know, when you have that mindset of tackling projects or tackling things, to-do lists, or whatever it is that you're needing to do, life just I don't know what it is. It's, you know, I've just seen, you know, hard work is rewarded in the long run. You may not think, maybe you've worked hard for somewhere and you just think, you know, Chuck, I've always worked hard, but I've never gotten somewhere. You know, one thing I've learned is the extra mile is a lonely road. There's not very many people on it. So if you're willing to do a little bit more than what others will, you're going to go a whole lot farther than what other people will. And, you know, so that's my word of encouragement to you this week is, you know, no matter where you're at in life, no matter how old you are, no matter whether you're retired, whether you're 20 years old, whether you're 16 years old, or, you know, wherever you are in your life, I want to encourage you to begin to think out of your box, to think about what you could do to make you better. And we all have dreams, we all have goals, and no matter how we are, you know, we should always be wanting to grow in life. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That's a little nugget from me this week. And guys, again, if you're stopping in for the first time, of course, I would be honored if you subscribe to the channel. Everybody else, give this video a thumbs up. It helps promote the channel. And guys, I appreciate you guys always stopping by and spending some time with me every week. And again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you click on this video. It's going to be one of these sides here, but it's a video. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to start giving away a $100 Amazon gift card every single month. That's my way of giving back to you for spending some time with me as, you know, I kind of grow and win in life. So guys, thanks. Have a great week.